Hi BookTube! I'm here today with a sort of what I'm currently reading library book haul kind of a thing where I'd like to discuss the books that I'm currently reading slash hoping to get to in the coming weeks. So the first book that I'm currently reading is The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan. This is obviously quite a thick book. It's very iconic, and it was written, this is the 50-year edition, and it is iconic of second wave feminism. And I'm reading this for a little mini book club I have with a few of my friends. We like to call ourselves the Feminist Agenda, because as we all know, feminists have a secret agenda out to hate men. And so far I am almost 100 pages in, but it's so fantastic and brilliant. Like, I got this copy from my library, but I actually would love to buy a copy because this is just so fantastic. I'd really love to just own a copy and be able to leaf through it. It's really about sort of how in the 50s women were in the 50s and in the 40s is after World War II, women were expected to just be housewives forever, even, dropping out of high school to become housewives, and how this led a lot of women to depression, because when you have nothing outside of your life besides your children, it really doesn't do great for your mental health. So anyways, I highly recommend this. I'm hoping to, when I finish this sometime this month, write a review or film a review about it, so stay tuned for this. Something else that I'm currently reading is The Name of God is Mercy by Pope Francis. I am not Catholic and I'm not actually Christian, but I find Pope Francis to be intriguing, and he really is one of the more prominent, obviously, Christian voices. And my library has something called Lucky Day, where some of the most popular books, popular fiction books or nonfiction books, you can check them out for about 3 weeks at the front. Because obviously, this is a New York Times bestseller that came out this year. It's quite small, so hopefully I'll be able to finish that soon. Also, Two Solitudes. This is a first edition, so it's not very obvious, but I am doing a buddy read with Amy from the Dusty Bookshelf with this. This is her favorite book of all time, and this is her 4th time, I believe, reading this. And this is my first time, and it's very illuminating, so hopefully I'm going to be filming a review of this, so stay tuned for that too. Let's see. Now this book is Max Havelier, or The Coffee Auctions of the Dutch Trading Company. So this actually came out in the mid-1800s, so obviously we're probably all familiar with the British East India Trading Company, and the Dutch East India Trading Company as well was prominent during this time. So this was a sort of semi-autobiographical, faintly fictionalized account of sort of ethical wrongdoings of the Dutch East India Trading Company during the 1800s. This entire thing was written within about 6 weeks, so on average 14 pages a day, and it's very intriguing so far. I am, my mother's family is Dutch, even though I am American, so I'm quite interested in the Netherlands and in Netherlandic history, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm sort of reading this, but I kind of haven't gotten as much of a head start as I'd like to, but that's something I'm hoping to get to and finish. Next I have Bonk, The Curious Coupling of Science and Sex by Mary Roach. Mary Roach's most famous book is Stiff, The Curious Life of Human Cadavers. This is the second book I have read by her. The first is Packing for Mars. She is a humorous science nonfiction writer, and she writes about sort of intriguing topics that maybe you hadn't quite thought about. But yeah, she's quite funny, and I am quite, let's see, I'm this far in it. So I'm making quite good headway. Her writing style is very easy to manage, so if you're interested in sort of a non-academic science nonfiction writer to kind of get you into the topics, I definitely recommend Mary Roach, because it's a very sort of approachable, she has a very approachable, understandable style of writing, so it's definitely not very dense if you aren't, if you don't know necessarily that much about science going into it, and she makes it quite funny as well, so the pages just turn really quickly. And the last book that I have is Memories of My Melancholy Whores by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I have read one other book by Marquez, and that was Love and Other Demons, and I read that earlier this month, and I was quite pleased by it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, so I'm really looking to read some more by him, and he won the Nobel Prize for his most famous work, 100 Years of Solitude, and he's also very well known for Love in the Time of Cholera. I'm looking forward to reading both of those. I do own a copy of each of them. However, I've read that it's better to start with some of his novellas before getting into his deeper works to kind of get an idea of his style. So that's what I'm looking to do. Yeah, he's written like dozens of books, so it's quite easy to find one that you're intrigued by. And also the last book that I have so far for my little mini library haul is God is Dead by Ron Curry Jr. Now that's quite an inflammatory title, but it's a small little book. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's just under 200 pages of literary fiction, and it's about the idea of what would happen if God took the form of a human and then died, and sort of the catastrophe that happens after that if God actually died. It says, in an electrifying debut that effortlessly combines outlandish humor with big questions about mortality, ethics, and human weakness, John Curry Jr. holds a funhouse mirror to our present-day world. God has inhabited the mortal body of a young woman in Sudan. When she is killed, he dies along with her. Faced with the hard proof that there is no supreme being in charge, the world is irrevocably transformed. Yeah, so it seems pretty intriguing, and I'll probably be able to read it within the course of an afternoon. So that is all that I have. So let me know if any of these sound intriguing to you, and if you have read any of them, and which ones you think I should start first. I will probably be doing reviews of most of these once I'm finished, so stay tuned for all of that. Okay, thanks for watching. Doei!